Welcome to the latest version. I'm your host, Betsy Bush. My guest, Shirley Acevedo Buontempo, has had an extraordinary 10 years. She left a career in marketing to pursue her passion of helping first-generation Latino kids and their families apply and get into college. Shirley is the founder and CEO of Latino U College Access in Westchester County, New York, and her organization has had a remarkable trajectory. She has so much wisdom to share about following your dreams into the nonprofit world. Shirley, thank you so much for being with me on the latest version. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, Betsy, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon and to see you virtually once again.
Once again. Well, let's just be upfront with the fact that we've known each other for a long time.
Yes.
You were a student in my fundraising class when I taught at Pace University's Masters of Public Administration course.
Yes.
And you got an MPA degree from Pace, along with, I think, an undergraduate degree also from Pace. But you've done something really extraordinary because not many people who set out to start a nonprofit manage to get to the point that you have in, ever. And you've done very well in just 10 years. And I want to just kind of talk about how you got there, because I think this is a dream that many people in mid-career or midlife or even later have about, I want to really do something worthwhile in the world, and the way to do that is by starting a nonprofit. Can you just give us a little idea of what your earlier career was like before you got into the nonprofit world?
Absolutely. Yes, when I had the privilege of meeting you and participate in your class, I was an adult learner. I had gone back to pursue my master's after 25 years after I received my undergrad.
Wow.
And so I had lived a whole other professional career, and the first half of my professional life was in business and marketing. I guess to backtrack, thank you for your kind words regarding the work that we do here at Latino U College Access. And as founder of LUCA, as we call it in acronym, as founder of LUCA, I was dedicated and committed to creating an organization that addressed educational inequities and provided opportunity to first-gen, low-income Latino youth. And why is that? Because I myself am first-gen Latina. I was born in Puerto Rico. English is my second language. And I believe in the transformative power of education to change lives for generations. When I went to college, I went from Puerto Rico to the Bronx to Pace University undergrad in Pleasantville, which was the country for us, city folks.
Yeah.
And I pursued a business degree back in the 80s in marketing, and the first half of my life's career was in Hispanic marketing and advertising, working on culturally targeted bilingual marketing and advertising campaigns. I loved that career. It was great fun to combine both my cultural as well as my academic preparation into a business. I was a product manager, an account supervisor, and worked for divisions of Gray and Saatchi, as well as packaged foods companies, Best Foods, Mazola corn oil business, and loved that industry. And I felt that when I started a family, it became more challenging, as many women, professional women, face.
Yes.
There comes a time when if your family obligations conflict greatly with what you are trying to achieve professionally, you have to sometimes make a choice. And at that time, I made a decision to step back from a corporate world and spend more time at home.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
raising two daughters.
Yeah, and that's very much a contemporary condition of a lot of women now in the post-COVID world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things during this pandemic, it's my heart went out to women who were raising young children, trying to work from home, navigating the needs of their children's academic virtual classes, as well as their own professional and business needs. It is challenging under normal circumstances. I'm sure it was quite challenging in this period.
Yes. So starting a nonprofit, I think a lot of, I'm just going to start a nonprofit. It's harder than I think a lot of people who have that dream, really think about. What did you do, or how did you prepare yourself to make that leap, and who helped you along the way, and what was that transition like for you?
The journey that I've taken to this moment in time has been one that I've been led to throughout my entire life. Everything from my personal background to my early career, to then choosing to work in the nonprofit industry while I was raising my family, and then pursuing my master's in public administration as an adult learner, led to a critical moment in time where I became aware of a need that existed in our community to provide resources and information to Hispanic families in our community in their language, in Spanish, and to help first-gen students who had so much potential maneuver the college admissions process. And it was that experience and recognition that I came to while I was pursuing my MPA that evolved slowly over time into the germ of an idea that why can't I do something about this? And I had decided that I did not want to return to the business world or the corporate world, and that I felt that my life's calling, my vocation was in the nonprofit world, providing services for the community. But my purpose, as I have found, was to launch this organization. And I launched in November of 2012 with an idea to create and deliver Spanish language information sessions on the topics of applying and paying for college, and started with 2 students that we were mentoring, a volunteer and I, and seeing the impact and the response to the work that we did in that first year really motivated me to continue to build and grow this organization to where it is right now.
You really picked up on something that was in the air around 2011, 2012, which was this realization that there were all these talented kids going through the public schools, graduating with, top grades, but that the family experience that so many other children have of parents who had themselves gone to college, knew how to go to college, how to apply, doing the college trips, doing the financial aid form, that for this first generation, this idea of the first generation kids who did not have that family experience to fall back on, and even parents who were not sure that there was financial aid help, scholarships, and all of that you had people falling through the cracks, young people who really should be going to college. And so you really had picked up on that, and that really made an impression on me, and I think a lot of others clearly.
Yes.
How did you find yourself falling back or using your marketing experience in the beginning in how you would fundraise?
Absolutely. I was doing research during my MPA on educational inequity amongst Latino students. And when we refer to first generation, we refer to first generation going to college in their families. Yes, the majority of our students are the children of immigrants, but they are also the first in their families that will go to college. And we realize that without parents to guide and parents who had that experience, the complexity of the college admissions process and the complexity of the financial aid process was the biggest detriment to students fulfilling their potential.
It can be so intimidating, even for parents who have gone to college to face this, the pressure and the ins and outs and all of that.
Yeah. And coincidentally, at the time that I was thinking about launching this organization, I was helping my own daughter through the college admissions process. Mm-hmm. And all I kept thinking was, if this is a challenge for me, who is a college grad, a professional, my husband as well, first gen college grad professional, how challenging is this for the families that I was working with in the nonprofit organizations that I served? And so recognizing that the unfairness of this process and the challenges that students were facing, I began the process of building and writing a business plan for the formation of LUCA. And I applied my business skills. You write a business plan by defining the problem, the need, the research, the solution. In the MPA program, we were required to do a capstone. My capstone theme was the factors that lead to success among first-generation Latino students. And so my capstone was the first primary research. So I spent a year and a half doing research and preparation, wrote the business plan, put together a little presentation that I then brought to local school districts. And we garnered our first partnership with Ossining School District, and then our second with White Plains, and our third with Sleepy Hollow. So we're in 3 school districts that we've defined as high Hispanic school districts. Over 50% Latino students are enrolled in those schools. And all of this from a lens of a social enterprise, applying a business strategy, business skills to both the building of the plan for the organization, in addition to the marketing of the organization. And so the logo that I designed, but I also worked with some of my peers from the advertising industry in creating a video. They provided pro bono support, consulted with some mentors and colleagues from the marketing and business world as well in the building of an organization, and started as a one-person team from my home and slowly grew. We also tapped into the talent of over 25 interns that have supported LUCA, most of them from my alma mater, from Pace University.
Wonderful.
I say that interns were the lifeblood that helped to build LUCA, and recruited incredible board members who were passionate about this mission, who were passionate about the work that we were doing, and who recognized the need for educational opportunity.
When I look at your social media posts, it's clear that you've been able to bring others into this dream that you have and communicate to them the importance of getting of your mission and getting these kids to college and helping the families. How does that work? I mean, to me, it's communicating to people who also may not necessarily share your background, but who understand the importance of getting all talented people into college so they can enrich our country and our communities and things like that.
Absolutely. I think that everyone understands, particularly those of us who have children, everyone understands the value and the dream of giving educational opportunity to children, and recognizing that an education is the surest way to break the cycle of poverty, the surest way to create upward mobility, to create a healthier community. You make healthier decisions when you have a college education, to be civically involved and informed, to make decisions around your community that impact policy and impact the work of the life around you. And so while we have many supporters they don't necessarily all share identity as Hispanic, but they all share a belief in education and a belief in providing equal opportunity to those that don't have the resources to access them. And in the potential of these, of the amazing children and scholars in our program, we have students that have worked very, very hard throughout their elementary and high school years, motivated by the sacrifice and the hard work that they've seen their parents give, and who their greatest goal is to make their parents proud, to be able to have career opportunities where they can then serve as role models for their siblings, where they can then uplift their own families. And when we look at our workforce, 65%, if not more, of new jobs will require some form of higher education. Mm. So for the benefit of our U.S. economy and business and work, we need an educated workforce. And the fastest growing demographic is the young Hispanic demographic. And so as the Latino community grows and it shows its incredible potential, it behooves us not to put them in places where they can succeed.
Hmm. Did you do any volunteer work or any side gigs or research into the area of tutoring or helping kids to help you narrow your focus? I mean, if you had this very broad idea of helping kids get into college, did you do anything like volunteering or working at another organization just to see what that would be like, kind of test the waters to get a sense of how you might clarify what you wanted to do?
I had been working for about 10 years in nonprofit organizations locally. And the last 5 before I launched LUCA were in an organization where I was hosting family workshops. And it was actually those nights working with Latino families in hosting evening workshops on topics that were of interest to them that began to move me and inspire me to recognize how much parents cared about their children's education, how much parents desired for their children to go to college, how aspirational they were. Mm. And while I was simultaneously doing that and helping my own daughter through the process, I felt a personal sense of concern that the parents in the programs that I was working in would not be able to do the same things that I was doing and paying for my child, whether it was SAT test prep or hiring someone to help my daughter with her college essays.
Right.
And it was that personal experience that made me realize that the system and the process was unfairly balanced for those with resources. And having worked in nonprofit, I knew that I could best benefit the community by providing these services for them. I remember talking to a group of students about test prep in this nonprofit. And there were, 6 students, and they were all high school seniors. Mm. And we asked them, how many of you want to go to college? And they all raised their hands. How many of you have taken test prep? And none of them raised their hands. Mm. And when I asked why were they not participating in the low cost test prep, which was, I think, about $350 in their school, one young lady said, "That's too expensive. That's grocery money." Mm. Now think about the thousands and thousands of dollars that other families in the same community can spend.
Oh, yes. Sure.
So when you have to choose between groceries and helping your child receive preparation for college admissions, there's an inequity there.
Absolutely.
And so we provide free test prep when they were doing it. Now they're not doing, now SAT is optional, test prep is optional, but we provide all of the resources students need for free. Thanks to the generosity of our donors, our funders, our sponsors. We give our scholars assistance through every step of the process. And then we also stay with them when they go off to college to make sure that they have support to succeed and graduate, because getting in is half the battle when you're first gen. Staying in and graduating is another major hurdle.
Yes. And regular college students, with family support have trouble, those first few years. I can just imagine what it must be like for a first gen kid who maybe feels at sea on a college campus and needs help and doesn't know where to turn, perhaps. So you stick with those kids through college and help them navigate that as well.
Yes, ours is a 6-year program helping students enroll, transition, stay in college, and ultimately assisting them in preparation for internships so that they can also have a network of contacts that can help build their resumes and gain some experience prior to graduating college.
Wow, that sounds great. Are you aware of any other similar organizations around the country, or is there a resource? I'm thinking of my listener who may not be in Westchester, but is, elsewhere in the country.
We are a member of an association called the National College Attainment Networks, NCAN. And there are hundreds of college access organizations around the country that work with first-gen students of all ethnic backgrounds. Whether it's a rural farming community, whether it's a Black community, Asian, anyone who's first gen. Our organization is very geared towards cultural identity and bilingualism, purposely so, because that's the need that exists in our community. Mm-hmm. But there are hundreds of organizations that serve any and all first gen students outside. In the community where we live in Westchester County, there is no other college access organization except for one in a nearby city, but that they support that particular city.
Right.
We are, as far as Latino focused, bilingual programming, maybe only a handful that I've heard of, and mostly in the Southwest and West Coast.
I'm so glad I asked you that question, because I had no idea there was such a national resource.
NCAN.org.
NCAN.org. I will make sure that information gets up on our show page.
Yes.
For anyone who wants to go to the latest version podcast.com. That will be on Shirley's episode page. I'm really glad I asked. So you now have several classes of graduating students by this time. Is that right? Or
yeah, it is. So when we started in 2012, we had 2 graduates. Then by 2014, it kept doubling the classes. So we had 10, 20, 25. To date, we've had 222 scholars go through our program.
Wow.
By next year's class, we'll be close to 300 students in our program.
That's fabulous.
We're really proud of them. I'd say about 46 students have graduated, and we stay in touch with most of them. They are at various companies like IBM, MasterCard. One of our wonderful students is sent me a message. She's graduating. She graduated from American University, served as a Peace Corps volunteer, and now is a program analyst at the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yes. So you must feel like you're the mom to all of these kids, because they would not be doing what they're doing now if it weren't for the organization that you started.
It is a blessing. I feel like I have 200 children, and I am so proud of each and every one of them. I love to follow them on LinkedIn and cheer them on as they announce their employments or promotions and encourage them to keep thriving. We also invite them to come back and speak to the younger students and inspire and mentor them. We're planning to have a private screening of the film In the Heights, which is about a first-gen college student. And I've invited this young lady who graduated from American and another student who's a sophomore at Stanford in our program to come and speak to the scholars at this private screening that we're hosting so they can share their journeys and their stories with them.
Oh, this is incredible. What an inspiring story, Shirley.
Thanks.
But
Thanks.
This spring, you had an interesting announcement to the community that you've been serving as founder and CEO of Latino U College Access. Do you want to tell us what it was?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I announced in the spring that this summer I would be stepping down as CEO and transitioning off this role into a new role here at LUCA and introducing our new executive director, Cosette Gutierrez. This is an internal succession plan with a deputy director that I hired almost 2 years ago, and who has been an incredible partner to me through this pandemic and to the organization, has been an incredible asset and has much to contribute to LUCA. I wanted to step away at this time from the day-to-day running as an executive director of LUCA because I felt that we were at a critical point in our life for scaling and growth, and I wanted to spend my time serving as an ambassador and as a fundraiser and as an advocate for educational equity. Inviting the executive director to manage the organization's growth, manage the organization's programs, scaling the programs, and work in tandem with the board to really get us to this next stage.
I have to say, I'm full of admiration for your insight into your need to do that for maybe, your own sake. I'm sure it's been a crazy 10 years.
It's 10 right? That feels like 20.
Yeah, right. but
20, 16-hour days.
I'm sure, and I'm sure you're ready to step back from that. But also, there are a lot of organizations that have founders who can't step away, who where it's healthy for an organization to have a succession plan and to have it's the organization that's important. It's not the person who founded it. It needs to grow on its own, and it needs to be self-sufficient, and it needs to be its own thing. And sometimes it's not great for the organization to be too closely associated or identified with a particular person.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that I'm proud of having had this opportunity to find my life's purpose in this work and to do something that is so inspiring and I'm so passionate about that I could literally work at it 24/7. But I am cognizant of the personal and family sacrifice that has been made over the last 10 years. And I am also cognizant of what the organization needs in order to successfully grow and scale. And I don't want to step away from it. There's nothing, there's no other mission and there's no other organization that I want to give my time, talent, and treasure to. But I am perfectly comfortable having leadership, having new leadership, having our board, having our team take the baton and run with it, particularly because I feel so confident in the skills and in the commitment and passion that our new executive director will have and the commitment that our board has for the organization. I will tell you, as the founder, if I didn't have this confidence, I wouldn't step away. Mm-hmm. But I do feel so confident from what I've seen that it is easy for me, and I'm actually excited about taking on a new role. I'm excited about redefining myself within LUCA, within this mission, but doing something new. I'm a continuous learner. I love to learn and do new things, and it's time. I've spent the last 10 years building this from the ground up. To your point, anyone that wants to start a nonprofit, it is not easy. Yes. If you want to do it right and you need to do it diligently, it is a lot of hard work and dedication, but the rewards from the fulfillment of this mission and the inspiration of those that you serve are equal to none.
Wow. So, as I always say on the latest version, we are never our final versions, and it looks like you're on to your next version of whatever you are going to be doing next. Obviously, with LUCA, but that will also be a role that you will start to define and continue to define.
Yeah, there's a little bit of the unknown, right? What does this new role look like? What is my, as I seek to establish thought leadership in the subject and in the area of educational equity, as I seek to serve as an ambassador for LUCA and to support our new executive director in reaching the goals of tripling the number of students that we serve, that's where I'm going to get a lot of joy. Sitting back and watching with pride and excitement where this organization is going and where our scholars are going.
Wow. Shirley, I always end my podcast with a question. Do you have 3 pieces of advice for anyone listening today who's like, I have a passion that I want to follow and I want to start a nonprofit? You've had a lot of good advice so far. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. I think most importantly is follow your passion, as it will lead you to your life's purpose. And if you follow that, I truly believe that there's a quote, by Paulo Coelho, a Brazilian author, that says, if you want something bad enough, the universe conspires to make it happen. And I think for me and for LUCA, it definitely was this putting out a dream and a wish for something that I wanted to achieve. But then secondly, do your homework, prepare, speak to a lot of individuals and ask for advice. I've always been very strategic and thoughtful about the next step and had what I call controlled growth and controlled piloting of our programs. So prepare and research and collaborate. It takes a village, and it's incredible how much you can accomplish if you share your vision with others and invite them to join you. And I think that's what has truly led to the success of LUCA. It's been a collaborative community success. We've all joined together, our volunteers, our staff, our board members, our community and school partners, and our corporate partners.
I am, again, full of admiration, and nothing could have pleased me more than to see one of my students from ages ago succeed at the level that you have. It's really gratifying, and it's just a wonderful thing to see. And Shirley, I wish you all the best as you redefine this role of wherever it is you're going, and we wish Latino U College Access all the best. And I thank you so much for joining me today on the latest version.
Thank you very much. And I congratulate you on your efforts with the latest version and your new version as well.
My new version, yes.
You're an inspiration to me. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to share the story and the mission of Latino Youth College Access. I'm excited to see what the future holds as well. And I do believe that it is a bright future for all of us. So thank you.
That's great. Thanks again, Shirley.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.